It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now here on Katz and Cosby is Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the New York Post, the one and only Michael Goodwin. Michael, it looks like things are headed in obviously a very good way for Trump. You talked about maybe a landslide, at least many people hoping for that for Trump.
Yes, thank you, Rita. Look, I mean, the polls are clearly trending in his favor. I think that there's a lot of concern on the Democratic side about the Kamala Harris campaign. There are worries that Michigan is moving toward Trump, although there was one poll today that contradicted that. They're also worried about Wisconsin. And most of the polls have Trump leading in all the battleground states. And so one of the things that I think is a real telling sign is that you have Democratic Senate candidates, some of whom are incumbents in these battleground states, including Ohio in this case, basically separating themselves from Kamala Harris. So they don't see her as an advantage to them, and they're running statewide. So they have a pretty good sense that she's not doing well in the states. So you're talking Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Montana, a number of these Democratic Senate candidates, and some of them are even mentioning Trump in the ads and in debates that he signed a piece of legislation that I wrote, or I support his idea on tariffs. These are amazing developments, and they signal, I think, that they're moving away. They see the handwriting on the wall that is Donald Trump is probably going to win their state, and so they don't want to go down with the Harris ship.
You know, one of the things that I'm also seeing, this is incredible today. Kamala Harris came out and said that Trump is fascist. He's a threat to America. It was so nasty.
And President Biden came out and said he should be in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, they're losing. Are they losing it?
Well, I think you're right to see those two things in conjunction. And yes, I think this is their desperation showing. The campaigns will publicly put on, all this joy and confidence. But I think what you're seeing now is they see it slipping away. And the early voting, which generally goes toward the Democrats, the Republicans have made a real effort. So they're seeing in some of the states, more Republicans are voting than Democrats early, which I think is concerning them. So what do? You go and you stand behind your podium, vice president, and you say outrageous things. You say over-the-top things. Now, if this is true, why hasn't she been saying this all along? Why wait until now that he's Hitler or whatever? I mean, it's always sort of a lot of Democrats say it, but for the vice president and the nominee to say that, and for then the president to say lock him up, I think that's an immediate mistrial on all of those cases. For the President of the United States, we have never seen anything close to this. For him to say the opposition party candidate should be put in prison, I mean, it is simply an extraordinary moment, and the media will, ho hum. We don't do this in America. At least we haven't until now.
Well, where do we go from here, Michael? I don't want to. Did you see what happened in Arizona this morning? This morning they said that they're not going to come out with a count in that county. What's the name of that county?
Yeah, Maricopa County.
Maricopa County for 10 to 13 days.
Yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, it's like our system is going backwards instead of forwards. I mean, here we are in the digital age, and it takes longer than it did 50 years ago to count the ballots. It is the sort of thing that makes you worry, because where are those ballots in those 13 or 14 days? I mean, it doesn't pass the security smell test. that this is all on the up and up. Now, I have no
How do they
evidence.
vote in Europe? In Europe, they've gone through all this with bad voting patterns in different countries. And I think in Europe, I think they have all paper ballots just about.
And well, even in some of our states, Florida manages to do it quite quickly and clearly. Look, John, there's a whole thing about bothers me that our government institutions have never been less trusted in many ways, and yet they continue to do things that fuel mistrust. It's almost as though they are unaware or unconcerned about the loss of credibility among many people. These are the institutions at all levels of government that hold our society together, that people trust the police or the FBI or the Justice Department or the Board of Elections. If you don't trust these institutions and the media, which of course has destroyed its own credibility in many cases, if you don't trust these institutions, how does society hold together? How do you get things done? How do people, go along with it if there's no trust? And I just think we're going to rue the day where these institutions have tuned out the public concerns, in this case about the integrity of the ballot, and they are now inviting people to question their honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a huge concern. Michael Goodwin, you are spot on. And I think there are so many concerns as people are talking about this election. It's so great to have you on, Michael. And of course, everybody check out his great column in the New York Post.
Always
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you both.